Chapter 33 Resolution. Any spells that had bound Marin were released. She grabbed the orb with both hands and lifted her head back, opening her mouth. A layered voice, multiple voices speaking in unison, breathed from her mouth. The Cursemaker will depart before completing his quest, but will leave unto a millennial heir his power of death. But truth and reason will prevail, and a power shall be lost to will. Mallory began to walk towards Marin. Lost to will? What does that mean? Lost to will? Marin's eyes were still pitch black. She looked at Mallory, and Mallory froze. Not because of fear, but because she couldn't move. Let her go, Merwin, Mallory screamed at Marin. Then, to both of their surprise, a shiny silver-blue mist arose from the orb. Marin was still holding it up. From the mist formed the figure of a woman with long hair and an ornate dress. Marin dropped the orb and backed away from it. The figure turned to face the two women and spoke in a calm voice. To the heir of Merwin, I leave you this final warning. Merwin was a broken man who made his final decisions with a fractured soul and mind. His logic is fundamentally wrong. He believes that by removing non-magical beings, he will be freeing the magical ones. What he does not understand is that we are all magic. Life itself is the power behind all that a witch or wizard can possess. Magic is in everyone. We are just able to harness it. Muggle or not, that much life, that much magical power lost in an act so malicious would render us all without magic and with a collective broken soul. Marin's eyes turned back to their normal brown eyes. She looked at Mallory. Mallory had a defeated, broken look as she stared into space, contemplating what she had heard. I never heard, Mallory said quietly. You have to kill me before he takes control of me completely, Marin said. We have to end the curse. Mallory's face contorted as she looked at her daughter and began to cry, saying, no, no, repeatedly, louder and louder. Then she stopped. Her eyes went dark. Harry looked to Ron and Hermione. He whispered, did you hear that? She wants her to kill her. We have to do something. They are both possessed by the sound of it, Hermione said. All right, Ron said. We stun them both, get their wands, and we'll sort it out after. Harry nodded and began counting on his fingers. 1, 3. Just then, as they rose from behind the wall, Mallory waved her wand and sent a glowing bubble of energy around herself and Marin. Harry's red bolt of light hit the boundary and dissipated in all directions. Harry yelled to his partner as he closed in on the edge of the energy bubble surrounding them. He stopped well before reaching it. He knew through experience not to trust what he couldn't see. Marin? Marin looked at Harry with panic. Then her eyes went dark and her posture slackened. Harry could tell she was taken over. Hermione and Ron were right behind Harry. Hermione said, no, we can't get in there, and it's only hours until she will be able to perform the curse. Ron stepped back and said, Bombardo Maxima! The spell shot back and knocked Ron almost to his knees. That won't work here, Hermione said. Mallory walked back to Marin, and the two of them sat facing each other and closed their eyes, as if to wait for midnight to come. What do we do? Hermione asked. It's hours away from midnight, and if we don't break this shield by then, we won't be able to stop them. Harry, Ron said. Harry looked at Ron. His face was serious. How exactly are we planning on stopping her if we break this shield? All three were silent. Ron said, what are we prepared to do? We are talking billions of people, including Hermione's parents. What are you saying, Ron? Are you saying when we get in there, we kill her? Ron said, I don't know what to do here. He looked to Hermione for support. We have to do something. Harry turned away. He knew Ron was right. Hermione did too. Then Harry thought, what about Neville and Nagini? Maybe she can fight it? Maybe Marin can help the curse die, as Neville did? Hermione thought for a few more seconds than she normally would. I'm afraid Marin is already cursed, since birth. Neville was connected, but never cursed by the Maledictus. And this curse was born from a split soul. As Rowena said, it's dark magic. The two women, mother and daughter, continued sitting facing each other, waiting. About an hour went by, and the sun was out. Ron had removed his cloak and apron and put them in Hermione's bag. Harry had contacted Robards in London and told him their situation. Hermione was well into her second book on curses, trying to find anything remotely similar to what they faced. Robards told Harry that he and Dawlish were following a lead. Marcus Fielder had been seen visiting a witch in a London apartment by a maintenance worker, and they would respond to Scafell Pike after checking on that. Marin sat in silence. She could see and hear, but she was not in control of her body. She sat looking at her mother, Mallory Castor. Her mother sat and looked at her. Marin could feel the thing that was always there, always inside her. Then she realized, I'm still here. I can still think. This is me, not him. She focused her mind, relayed her thoughts and let them go. Focus, mother. She could feel a response. Just a flicker. She focused harder. Mother, let me in. Then she felt it, the familiar feeling of entering another's conscious mind. A voice spoke from within her, but it wasn't Merwin. It was her mother. Marin? Why did you let me go? Marin asked. Her mother dissolved from view, and Marin saw memory flashbacks. Not her own past. Her mother's. Memories flooded into her mind. Scenes of a happy family, a loved man. Then her husband, Marin's father, is shot and killed by Muggle thieves. Mallory becomes depressed, and her will weakens. Her blood curse begins to manipulate her in her traumatized state. The curse itself forces her to give up her child and begin preparing for the millennium. Memories of Mallory finding Merwin's last home, reading ancient texts, and finally finding the orb hidden away at her mother's house. From the moment Marin's father was murdered, she could feel her mother had lost control to Merwin's curse. She could now feel her mother's desperate struggle within. Her mother never heard the prophecy. She only knew what was passed along. They were two different things. When Mallory heard the prophecy, and it didn't align with what she thought, it damaged her connection with Merwin. Marin could feel her mother fighting Merwin's control over her. What was once Mallory's answer, the reason that gave her grief purpose, was now her prison, and she couldn't get free. Then Marin felt it. A light tug, a gentle desire. For Mallory was internally requesting access to Marin's memories. Marin resisted on instinct, but felt her mother's need to see. She released her mind and gave access to her mother. All her memories. Growing up in an Italian wizarding village, her time at school, her first kiss, getting sworn into the Italian Aurors office. The memories vanished like smoke, and Mallory came back into Marin's sight, sitting, eyes completely black. Marin was still unable to move. She could feel the curse had loosened its grip slightly. She could see her mother, eyes open and dark. Then her eyes turned back to normal brown eyes. Then Marin felt the grip of the curse tighten. Mallory noticed the sky was getting darker. That didn't make sense. It was just morning. She looked around and realized she was inside a bubble shield charm. She just remembered she had cast it. She remembered it was supposed to hold until at least midnight. Ron saw Mallory stand up, so he shook Harry and Hermione to wake them. The two women had sat for hours, so the three of them took turns keeping an eye on them while the others rested their eyes. They both woke abruptly. Harry had his wand out and saw Mallory. She was now standing inside the bubble shield. Harry had noticed a change in her expression, a change in her overall demeanor. Mallory placed the two of their wands on the stone ground below her, took a step back. She waited till the three appeared at the edge of the shield charm. "I'm sorry," she said. She lowered her head. "The curse has let go of control over me. It has now concentrated all of its energy, its power on Merwin." Mallory waved her wand, and the shield charm broke apart and vanished. Harry ran forward. Mallory yelled in a panic, "Don't touch her." It was too late. Harry had grabbed her, his hand on her shoulders. Red belts of light shot out in all directions from the point of contact at her shoulder. Everyone was sent to the ground, reeling in pain. Marin sat unmoved. Mallory yelled, "All of Merwin the Malicious's powers are protecting her. We can't stop her now. It's too late." Harry yelled at Mallory, "You did this to her, your own daughter." Mallory cowered away from Harry. Harry took a step forward. Mallory pleaded, "I was in grief. I had a blood curse that they never told me about. I never would have had." She looked towards Marin. She paused and looked back at Harry. "I never would have had children had I known. He forced me. He manipulated me. I love my daughter. That's why I gave her away. I knew I was lost, broken. Then I found out why. I let him take me over. I was weak." Harry stood up, brushed himself off, and listened. "I let this happen, and now there is nothing I can do but watch this curse destroy billions of innocent people and rip my daughter into pieces." Hermione gasped and covered her mouth. Ron walked behind Harry and put a hand on his shoulder. "Hey, mate." Harry lowered his head. Ron continued, "We've got to make a choice, mate," Hermione said in a higher tone than usual. Ron looked at her, and she couldn't look back. "It's a bad place to be. Harry, there's no good outcome here." Ron said, and Harry shook his head. "I have to be the one who does it." Ron, Harry, and Hermione all turned to see that Mallory had spoken. "If that's the last possibility, I will be the one to do it." Harry looked at his watch. It was 9:30. "We have 2.5 hours left. There's got to be some other way." Ron said, "Can we remove the curse?" Mallory said, "It's a blood curse. She is the curse. It can." Harry thought about the word blood curse. Nagini was a blood curse. Neville was able to connect and communicate with the conscious soul of the curse, able to help it pass on without being cursed himself. Maybe Marin can reason with the curse with Merwin? Harry looked around at Hermione. She thought about that for a few moments, looked to him, and shook her head. "Harry, that curse was different. Neville wasn't cursed. He was in control of himself. Marin is cursed. She has lost control." She looked directly into Harry's eyes. "Harry, my parents, all those people. How can we leave something like this to chance, to hope?" She paused. "We can't. Ron is right. We're in a bad place." Marin stood in the center of the square where the fountain once stood. Her eyes were completely black. Her expression was completely blank. She could feel the curse surging and growing, pulling her mind in and out of awareness. Then she heard the voice. It was loud and clear, and it felt like it came from within her. "To my heir, I write to you tonight in desperation. I fear my past choices have finally come home. My thirst for knowledge and power in my youth, my rage for the things I could not change have split me into pieces. But my resolve on this night has never been more solid. I fear my end is coming. My work will not be completed before that happens, so I have taken steps to ensure that it will continue with you. I leave you my greatest creation. Ave Cavadium en masse, the mass murder curse. With this curse, one must sacrifice oneself, but by doing so, they purge the world of all non-magical people, a necessary evil to ensure our survival. Otherwise, I fear our extinction. 1,000 years. 1,000 years for the curse to fully grow, to mature.